Hello friends. Maybe you are not aware of it, but Mongolia is, so to speak, one of the main powerhouses of world wrestling. The Dagestani and Ossetian wrestlers, who were more successful in Olympic gold, have long ago forgotten their mountain wrestling traditions and completely switched to modern freestyle wrestling. After all, victories should bring official respect and prestige. The Mongolians still honor the traditions of their national wrestling bohiin barildaan, which is a powerful base for numerous Mongolian champions in freestyle wrestling, judo, sambo and sumo. It is a nomadic martial art that dates back to the time of Genghis Khan. That is why territorially it was established in Mongolia, Southeast Russia, Altai, Buryatia, Tuva, and northern China. The Mongolian wrestling unites all these territories by scale tournaments, not in Ulaanbaatar, where the best wrestlers annually come to find out the strongest. As it should be a real ancient martial art, the determination of the strongest in Mongolian wrestling is uncompromising and indifferent to powerlessness. No weight categories, no time limits. If you are small and weak, then you can't fight the best. The rules here are fairly typical of any wrestling. An opponent toppled to the ground is considered the loser. There is no partner. You can only touch the floor with your feet and palm. If you are on the knee or the elbow, you lose. But the main distinctive feature of Mongolian wrestling is the equipment of the participants. There are no typical wrestling tights for modern types of wrestling. Wrestlers' underpants have a rigid frame for grappling. A shortened jacket is slung over their shoulders and tied with a rope on their stomach, which is a reliable rest for grappling and power blasts for throwing from any position. In some ways, these fighting conditions are similar to judo and sambo, but with their own national chips. Thanks to their specific equipment, at any moment the strong wrestler can lift an opponent by an elastic band on his underpants and bounce him in his arms like a baby, twisting him to the ground as if the poor guy accidentally fell down from the 9th floor on the roof of the staircase. Often such competitions are held in an open field, where a successful throw can be perfectly felt with lungs sticking to the spine and the brain beaten to a state of mashed potatoes. Bohiin barildaan is the most popular national sport of Mongolia. A born boy is usually wished to become a good wrestler as a popular precept in life, and in spite of the small population of the desert Mongolia, the mass wrestling gives the result in the world scale as well. For example, at the Olympics, Mongolian freestyle wrestlers take medals from the 60s, and of Mongolia's 26 Olympic triumphs of all time, 17 were in wrestling and judo. The wrestling craze at all social and territorial levels has given rise to a whole system of tournaments, from village competitions to national and supranational tournaments. Serious tournaments are held in summer and in the open field, where national tents for fighters and judges are stretched. A bright ceremony of carrying the tent of Genghis Khan through the fighting field is arranged. They arrange spectacular historical parades and horse shows. A peculiar system of evaluating wrestlers' skills has been formed. Those who drop out of the fights at the Nodon tournament are awarded titles according to the number of rounds of fights they have completed. The tension builds up from the 5th round of the tournament. Win 5 bouts, you're a real beauty like the swift falcon. If you make it to the quarterfinals, winning 6 fights, you're as dangerous as a hawk. Conquered the 7th round, mighty as an elephant. Winning 8 rounds of fights, reaching the semi-finals of the tournament, entitles the player to the Garuda title. The winner of the competition becomes a lion. After each bout, the winner raises his hand and the defeated one, obediently bowing his head and loosening the knot of his shoulder jacket, must pass under his hand, the so-called under the Garuda's wing, in recognition of his superiority. Mongolian wrestling has set itself apart in world wrestling. Yes, on the Olympic mats, Mongols have a hard time getting through competition with Dagestanis and Ossetians, but regionally, in Asia, Mongolian wrestlers are considered the benchmark for wrestling. Proof of this is the total domination of the Mongols naturalized in Japan in the sumo elite, where today almost every last Japanese yokozuna is a descendant of a respected Mongolian champion's family. So, for example, Yokozuna Hakuho, the son of the 6-time Mongolian wrestling champion and the first Mongolian freestyle wrestling medalist at the 1968 Olympics, Jigsidin Munpat, achieved a record-winning streak in sumo in the history of the sport.